Hi, my name's Brogan and I have a YouTube channel called Brogan Tate XO, and I have just got back from an epic 2-week trip to Florida where I went to Walt Disney World and Universal for the first time, and it was my first time going to Volcano Bay as well. So with that in mind, I learned a lot, and although it was quite busy because it is quite new, they do have an amazing TapuTapu system which I'm going to explain to you, along with loads of other really handy tips that I wish I'd known before I had gone. So here we go. My very first tip is something to do before you even go to the park. So if you download the Universal app onto your phone or sign up for an account on the website, you can actually connect your credit or debit card in the back end of your account. Don't worry, everything's super safe. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but what this does is when you get your TapuTapu, you can link your tickets to your account. So your tickets and your credit card are linked, and the watch they give you, which you can use for all your rides, kind of like a fast pass system. Again, like I said, I'll explain it a little bit later on, but it's clever because not only can you use it for that, but you can use it to pay for your lunch and any like merchandise and things. So you can actually spend money on your band, a bit like a magic band in Disney, but you do need to make sure that you have added your credit card or debit card in the back end of your account. So make sure you do that if you really want to take advantage of the ease and convenience of having it all on your wrist. My next tip is actually getting to the park. So if you have a car or you've rented a car, you can obviously park on site, which is fine. But if you don't, I actually got an Uber from my Disney hotel to Volcano Bay, but the Uber takes you to a centralized Universal drop-off and pick-up point. So you can go either to Volcano Bay or to Universal Island of Adventure from this pickup point. So I got dropped off there, and then I got a free shuttle bus from that point to Volcano Bay. But what this meant was that I was actually a little bit longer, like my journey was more delayed than I wanted it to be. So I ended up having to obviously go through security as well. So make sure you allocate plenty of time if you want to be at the park when it opens, which is definitely a bonus. If you can get there for opening is when it is quietest. So if you want to be there for opening and you are getting Ubers, or you do need to make use of the free shuttle, then do allocate some extra time. But it is really easy and everything's signposted, so don't worry. So like I said, when you arrive, you will be given a TapuTapu, which is essentially a big watch. It's blue, it's got a little square face, and this is what you will be utilizing for the whole day. I will go on to explain what this does, but when you arrive, this is what you'll be given. So make sure you keep it safe, keep it on your wrist, and you can use it for obviously your, like I said, your food, your rides, and also your lockers, which leads me nicely onto my next point. Lockers in any water park that I've ever been to, in my experience, are always busiest at the front of the park, and it's quite likely that they will have others. In Volcano Bay, I actually asked and they directed me to another set of lockers that were actually closer to the rides and past a restaurant called the Bamboo Restaurant from memory. You can use cash or card to rent a locker for the day, but you connect it up to your TapuTapu. You don't need to remember the locker number. You just go up to the digital screen, tap your band, and it opens up your locker for you. It's so clever. I did find that these were a lot quieter, and at the end of the day, when I wanted to get changed and shower and everything like that, it was so much nicer. And I walked past the locker when I was leaving and it was heaving. So definitely take that little bit of extra time, walk a bit further around the park and go to the lockers that are further away. Trust me. Some people like to wear shoes walking around the park, and the one thing I did find is that the floor isn't too hot or harsh on your feet. I have been to some water parks where I really wish I had flip-flops on or water shoes, but actually the park itself is very well maintained. I did feel like my feet were becoming quite rough just walking on the floor for a while, so if you do want to wear shoes, they have little pouches before each ride, and you can leave them in like a little pouch area. It's absolutely fine, it's like safe because there's staff that are there, but you can leave them before you get on the ride. And that's worth noting that some rides won't let you wear shoes, sunglasses, jewelry, any of those kind of accessories. They ask you to leave them. And that reminds me, you cannot take a GoPro or a phone or any camera or recording or water camera or anything like that. You cannot take it on the rides. I asked several lifeguards, just out of curiosity, if there were any rides that I could use my GoPro on, and the only ones that allowed me to were the lazy rivers and the wave machine. So just bear that in mind. If you did want to record or film or take photos of your family, then you can't do it. You just can't. Don't miss going inside the volcano and talk to, I don't know what to call it, but like, you'll see what I mean. What did I call it in my notes? Talk to the wall, I put. It's a projection of a face on the wall, and it actually talks back to you. I didn't get to film this because I was walking through spontaneously on my own without the cameras, and it just said hello, and I went hello, and then it started talking. So don't miss it, honestly. It's good fun, especially if you have kids. If you want a lounger and you want to sunbathe or chill out or have some shade, then get it early. They were all gone by lunchtime. Don't do what I did and remember exactly where your lounger is, because it is actually quite big, and the beach area in front of the volcano is huge. So try and remember exactly where you put your things, or you can obviously leave your stuff in a locker, or you could have a family member who maybe might not be riding the rides. They could base themselves, so you and your family know where to meet. But yeah, if you want a lounger, then do get it early. Don't think you're going to be able to get one in the afternoon, because honestly they were all gone. It was very busy. If you don't want a lounger and you want something a little bit nicer, they actually have cabanas at Volcano Bay, and they are lovely. I am definitely getting one the next time I go with my boyfriend, just because they're a bit more secluded, a bit more private, they're bigger, they're nicer, and the golden thing about a cabana is they have a little tapu-tapu point. I'm going to go on to explain TapuTapu properly in the next bit, but they have a point where you can tap and pick which ride you want to be waiting in line for. So unlike a normal guest that's walking around where you have to actually go up to the ride to tap in your cabana, you have the choice of which ride you want to wait in line for. So there is that. You've got food. I think they even have little fridges, I think, but I know there's like fruit and water and drinks and things. So the cabanas are really lovely. And again, I noticed I walked past the cabana stand where there was staff selling the cabanas, and they were sold out by 11 o'clock. So again, if that's something you're interested in, then you can book in advance or book first thing in the morning and get your cabana, because they're lovely. So let me try and explain this TapuTapu thing to you. And honestly, it's not the easiest thing to get your head around, but when you are in the park and on the day, it does make more sense. So it's essentially a waiting in line fast pass-esque system that they have designed, which is quite unique to Volcano Bay. I've not really seen too many other parks, and I've been to a lot of theme parks and water parks that do this, but they have some really big rides there, like some amazing rides. I didn't even get to do them all, but they had some really great ones, and the wait times were going up to, well, I saw up to 150, 180 minutes long. So what they do is they allow you to tap in to a ride to wait in line for it. So you approach the ride, and next to it will be TapuTapu points, and you can tap in and wait until your time slot. When your time comes up, your TapuTapu will buzz saying ride now. You go back to the ride, and you can then join a little queue, like a shorter queue. You don't automatically ride the ride because obviously so many people have waited. So do expect, like, you know, 5-10 minute wait, and then you can ride it. In the meanwhile, while you're waiting for those big rides that have those big wait times, you can do any ride that is a ride now. So there are some kind of slides, there's the wave machine, there's the lazy rivers, there's other things you can do. If you go up to a wait time board, they're digital, like electronic boards, they'll tell you which ones you can ride now. But you can actually join some queues and wait in other queues while you wait for your other ride. It is quite complicated, but for example, I had 150 minutes waiting on a ride. I went up to another one. They let me tap in to ride that ride. My band changed, but then when I finished that ride, it reminded me that I now had 90 minutes left to ride the other ride. I am fully aware as I'm explaining this that it is quite a complicated system, and honestly I don't think they do explain it well enough to people, and it was quite hard for me to get my head around it. So all I can say is that just embrace it. You can ask the staff which rides are the most popular, but you'll find that it's quite obvious which ones are the most popular. they are the biggest ones to see. I was really keen to do the water roller coaster one, and that had a big wait time, so I put that on the top of my bucket list. They have a ride that is one of those drop ones that literally drops your feet and you go shooting down, and you go through a clear kind of like tunnel where people can see you go through it. That one's super popular. And they also have these two big ones that are on the far right hand side of the park called the whale and the turtle. Not to be too confused, the whale is the green slidey one and the turtle is the blue tube one that you go up and down again. Again, once you're there, it does make more sense, and it is an amazing place. You can get it all done if you are quite savvy with tapping in and you don't mind running around the park. It is quite a lot of like walking around as well, so you will be keeping fit, that's for sure, but it is really great fun. Another thing to note is that when you are riding rides that are raft rides, sometimes 4 or 6 people, you might be separated from your family or party members. They actually weigh people on a massive scale, so don't worry, it's not individually weighed. They weigh you as a group, and then they try and balance out the weight allowance. So I had a family of 4 in front of me, and they actually split the dad and the son and the mum and the daughter, and I went with the mum and daughter, and they equaled out the weight allowances. So just bear that in mind. You might not always be able to ride every single ride as a family, just because that's the way they do things, which I didn't actually know, but it makes sense when you get there. When you hear the big Kong noise, that's when the wave machine happens, and I think it's quite regularly. I don't know what this noise means. I'm so excited. Is that just playing all day, or does that mean something? Ooh. What is it? What does that mean? Waves? Yeah, waves are starting, are they? Yes. Okay, so we know that's the sign for the waves starting. They're pretty like small at the moment, but I'm sure they'll get bigger, will they? Yeah, that's the wave machine. Okay. I didn't actually get a chance to do the wave machine, but I think the lifeguard told me it was every like 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. So when you hear the Kong noise, that means it's the wave machine. There are 2 lazy rivers at Volcano Bay, which is amazing. I love a good lazy river. So they have your normal, slow, stereotypical lazy river, but they also have one that is fast. It actually produces waves and you go around quite quickly. It's actually really good and really enjoyable. So if you want to chill in a ring and go a bit faster than your normal lazy river, then make sure you do both, because the faster one was actually really, really good. My last 2 tips are, it is very, very hot there, so do make sure that you are applying sun cream regularly. If you have very pale skin like me, then you want to wear like a t-shirt or a rash vest. Make sure you're covered up. I had a swimming costume on, which is good for my modesty on those water slides, girls, so bear that in mind. And if you have kids, then you might want to put water shoes on them, and obviously, like I said, apply the sun cream regularly, and do make sure you're staying hydrated. They have water tanks everywhere around the park, and I actually found that it was cold. Unlike in Disney, their water tanks actually have the pipes get so hot, and when you go to have the free water out of a water tap, it's normally quite warm and it's really unpleasant. Whereas I found in Volcano Bay, it was really cold, and I just made sure every time I saw a water tap, I drank from it and kept myself hydrated, because it is hot and you don't notice it so much when you're in and out of the water. So make use of the free water, definitely. A lot of people have the refillable mugs here as well. They're about $15, I think, or $12.99. You can get like 3 for 10 or something. There's basically a mug that you can buy, like a plastic cup, and you can refill it all day, which is really great. But there's also water fountains everywhere you go. And also, if you do want to end the day and have a nice drink, I actually went and got a cocktail. It was basically like a pina colada, coconut, rum, pineapple drink. And the best thing is it came in a souvenir glass. So if, like me, you like your merchandise and your souvenirs, they have great shops, by the way, with great things that you can purchase. But a nice little way to get a nice little souvenir is get a drink, and you get the free Volcano Bay cup, and it's actually really nice. So there we go, that's a nice little tip for you too. So that is all my tips for this video. If you are going to Volcano Bay, then I hope you have an amazing time, and if you're planning a trip, then do check out Attractions Tickets Direct. You can actually get a multi-day ticket, which allows you to go to Universal Studios Orlando and Island of Adventure and Volcano Bay, so you can actually visit visit all 3 of the parks with one of these tickets. So that'll be linked below and you can go check it out. And if you have any other questions, leave them below for me and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.